कुमार स्वामी नायक गोंगो लुगु लटोका रेडियो फीजी 2 में पुराना गाना लगे हमें बहुत अच्छा लगे।
रेडियो फीजी 2 देश की धड़कन।
Good evening, Fiji. In this bulletin, Fijians in New Zealand mark safe from COVID-19. Sudelpa MP Linda Thambuya quitted. And FCCC to monitor duty and tax reduction.
From the studios of FCCC, Jackie Spate.
Fijians currently residing in New Zealand are in good health amidst the new emerging COVID-19 cases. The New Zealand High Commissioner to Fiji confirmed to FBC News that there are ongoing discussions between the two countries regarding the safe return of Fijian nationals through repatriation flights. Jasaina Nunga with the details.
The New Zealand High Commissioner to Fiji says more collaboration is needed to initiate new and effective safety measures to tackle the impacts of COVID-19 before safely reopening ports of entry.
Look, I've been in touch with members of the Fijian community that live in New Zealand, that make New Zealand their home. And I think, they're in a good state at the moment. We've been working with Fiji on helping to repatriate Fijian nationals who are in other countries trying to get home, and where they have needed to transit Auckland. We're continuing to have discussions with Fiji, again, to try and help each other out.
Meanwhile, Australian High Commissioner to Fiji, John Fick, says with an influx on the number of COVID-19 cases recorded in Australia in recent weeks, the federal government has imposed stringent measures to safeguard its people, including Fijians.
Thoughts are with all Australians, particularly those in Melbourne at the moment, and also, of course, with the Fijian community there. Obviously, it's a very difficult time for all Victorians, and our hearts are with them, and our hearts are with all of the Fijian community, not only in Victoria, but in other places.
Prime Minister Vorengen Bainimarama recently stated that Fijian heart aches with the new cases emerging in New Zealand and Australia. Bainimarama also conveyed our heartfelt praise for the two countries and says Fiji will continue to render support where possible as we strive to overcome the pandemic. Josai Nanunga, FBC News.
Social Democratic Liberal Party MP Linda Thambuya has her focus fixed on winning the deputy leader position in the party and leading them to the 2022 general election. Following the acquittal of her case this morning, Thambuya says she is relieved that the feeling of having something hanging over her head has now come to pass. Apanisa Wangarandovu reports Thambuya was acquitted by the Suva Magistrates Court for a charge of malicious acts under the Public Order Act.
As Thambuya vies for the position of deputy party leader, she says there are no pending obstacles against her.
We will see more of banding together to prepare for the 2022 elections. So far, I've only seen myself as the only woman that has applied for a leadership position. I wish that there had been more women, but I bring in that gender equality to the race, to the leadership.
When asked what she will bring to the top of the hierarchy in the party, Thambuya says she will continue to push for Sudelpa to become a multiracial party.
I would be able to bring that when Sudelpa is often viewed as a traditionally Vanua-based, votes and party. Also, bringing in the multiracial and multicultural look and inclusiveness into the party since we came in from the People's Democratic Party.
Thambuya's lawyer Adishna Ryan says they are happy with the intervention by the Director of Public Prosecution, who filed a notice of motion with an affidavit to withdraw the charges against his client.
Linda, it means now that she's free. She does not have a threat of any possible future charges on the same subject matter. She's free to carry on with her political career and perform the services that the government will.
Sudelpa will name its leader and deputy leader in November, and Thambuya says her application for deputy leader is aimed at upholding gender equality in the party and its leadership. Apinisa Wangarandovu, FBC News.
President and Commander-in-Chief Major General retired Chiochi Kondrote has been bestowed the position of Honorary Colonel 1st Battalion Fiji Infantry Regiment. In his address at the State House this morning, Kondrote acknowledged the defence fraternity for believing in his leadership and appointing him the ceremonial head of the regiment. It is understood the Colonel of Regiment is an honour granted to any retired senior military personnel who have served in the regiment while serving their tenure in the force. Chasaina Nunga has more.
While he lived
The president urged the current military personnel to understand the history of Fiji's peacekeeping deployment that has paved the way for the RFMF over the years.
Those of us who are familiar with the history of the deployment, we made a mark for ourselves. We were branded as good jungle fighters, and I think the result of that, at which we're all proud from then up until today, is the award of the highest decoration for valor, the award of the Victoria Cross to the late Corporal Stefanes Kunipal.
He adds the position plays a significant role in supporting the regiment and those in authority, particularly in addressing issues in the force.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have a legacy to uphold and keep. It is our job, it is incumbent upon us to protect a proud, enviable reputation of the Fiji Infantry Regiment. Again, you upheld the reputation and the legacy of the Fiji Infantry Regiment.
A 100-man regimental guard of honor was mounted by members of the Republic of the Fiji Military Force as part of the ceremonial event. Chosai Nanunga, FBC News.
The Fijian Competition and Consumer Commission has divided its action plan into 3 phases following the review of the FCCC Act. A new section has been added to the Act as per the National Budget announcement, empowering the FCCC to ensure that when duty and taxes are reduced, the benefits are passed on to the consumers. Ritika Pratap reports.
Speaking on FBC TV's For the Record show last night, Chief Executive Joel Ibrahim said Phase 1 includes stakeholder engagement.
We want this to happen naturally, organically. So we want to set in a culture of compliance so that not just now, whenever there is a duty reduction, right? And whenever there is a change in policy, and the intention behind the policy is that it must reach the people, the fact is it must be realized across the supply chain. And that is what we want.
Abraham says they're getting action plans and a copy of their inventory from the traders as they want to ensure the system will work. The second phase will be the verification process and the last phase will be enforcement. Abraham says traders are taking different approaches to pass on the duty reductions.
Some are saying, I'll wait and I'll drop the price after I've sold my old stock. Some are saying, I'll wait, I'll do a weighted average, so there'll be a gradual decline. And FCCC needs to get in to make sure that what these traders are doing is correct, that the benefit gets passed down. Now, that is the intention.
Customs duty has been reduced on over 1,600 basic food items, which came into effect from August 1st. Ritika Pratap, FBC News.
Footage has come to light of a mountain medical rescue late yesterday afternoon. A teenager fell off a cliff while hiking the Ndelai Natalau Hills with his 2 friends. 14-year-old Epeli Kunambuli lost his footing while climbing up the final foot rock face of the sleeping giant mountain range in Sambeto, Nadi. His 2 friends came quickly to his aid and contacted Kunambuli's parents. Police were contacted and the police rescue squad hiked up the mountain with Kunambuli's father. Due to Kunambuli's serious injuries and the steep terrain, it was decided not to attempt to carry him down the mountain. HeliPro Fiji was then contacted to assist in the rescue and medical assistance. The teenager is in stable condition and currently recovering at the Lautoka Hospital. Up ahead, FRA replaced 30 bridges in 3 years. And Fiji Rice made almost $500,000 turnaround.
मैं तो दिल्ली में रहता हूँ और रेडियो फीजी रोज सुनता हूँ.
रेडियो फीजी 2 देश की धड़कन.
A 19-year-old farmer from Namui Manda village in Ra died following a hit-and-run accident on Saturday night. Police say the victim was riding his bike with another villager along the King's Road near Navolau at around 9:30 p.m. when he was hit by an unknown vehicle. He was rushed to the Rakiraki hospital but was pronounced dead. The police search for the driver continues, and anyone who may have information that could assist the investigation is requested to call the Western Division Command Centre on 9905 457. The road death toll currently stands at 20 compared to 35 for the same period last year. The Fiji Roads Authority has replaced about 30 bridges around the country. FRA Chief Executive Jonathan Moore says throughout his 3-year tenure, he has identified bridges that desperately needed to be replaced. Moore adds there are a few more bridges in need of replacement, beginning with the deteriorating structures at Wainra, Waimbao and Wainimbao in the Eastern Division. The FRA CEO says the next 10 bridge replacements will be done with the modular bridges purchased from New Jersey worth $2.5 million. Moore says those bridges are double width, extra heavy-duty steel and will be beneficial in the Fiji-wide bridge recovery program. He says FRA is now in discussions with another company about bringing more bridges, as the FRA has identified 40 bridges they want to change over the next 6 years.
Fiji's bridges are not in the best condition. They're not about to fall down, but they do need replacement. And there's a 5 to 6 year project to replace many bridges, and we need to do that fairly quickly and very efficiently.
Fiji Rice Limited has made a huge turnaround of close to $500,000 in a span of 7 years, with the success attributed to farmers' hard work. General Manager Ashrit Pratap says some of these farmers were initially landowners and their land has been cultivated by Fiji Rice Limited. Pratap says over the years the company gave the farmers their share, who have thus reinvested in rice cultivation. Fiji Rice Limited produced 221 tons of rice worth over $161,216 for the financial year ending July 31st. Pratap says the unaudited profit for the year 2019 to 2020 is around $471,000.
We deduct cost after harvesting and the proceeds are given back to the farmers. The idea is basically for them to have the feel of rice farming and also profits in the end so that they can reinvest into rice farming. So the mechanism is working quite well and we are able to achieve that.
Looking over to New Zealand, the New Zealand election has been pushed back by 4 weeks to October the 17th. But even if there are further outbreaks, Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern says she will not be changing it again. It comes as 9 new cases of COVID-19 were recorded in their communities today. And Whitney joins us now with business.
Thanks, Jackie. In business tonight, customers benefiting from perfume duty reduction. And in growing Fiji, government committed to housing rehabilitation. Stay with us.
Pula natang ko aproslan kerse, go erkraki. Do televizyon navarong na Radio Fiji 1 nandomo ibiti.
Radio Fiji 1 nandomo ibiti.
Some business owners are now taking advantage of the reduction in import duty announced in this year's national budget. This has led some business owners to reduce prices on certain items, passing on the benefit to their customers. FBC News spoke to some small business owners at the Gold FM Rock Market who said the reduction is necessary and timely in these tough times. Venina Rakautonga has more.
Sunny's fashion owner Faruna Shainaz Bibi says ensuring her customers benefit from import duty reduction is her #1 priority.
I came to know that people are really facing issues in buying that. The only thing they're saying is that they're not in the port to afford that much. So since the duty came down and there's no more duty for the perfumes now, we have put our price down.
Bibi, who purchases her perfume products from India, Malaysia and Singapore, has been selling branded perfumes for as low as $5 to suit her customers' budget.
They're helping me in my business, and then I'm being helped from the government from the new budget. So the business is rolling on okay.
Another perfume seller, Amit Chand, who sells at the Gold FM Rock Market, says dropping the prices of perfumes is necessary for his business to thrive.
A lot of people, they don't have enough money to go to the premium shops and buy all those big prices, you know. They can't pay all the big prices. So it's quite easy for people with the low income to come and buy perfumes, and they get the same perfumes at a lower price. And it's 100% pure.
The duo both opened their business at the Rock Market in Suva yesterday and received an overwhelming number of customers. They now aim to sell their product at the monthly Rock Market event. Venina Rakautonga, FBC News.
Private delivery companies United Parcel Service and FedEx have shut down on social media calls for them to deliver mail-in ballots from the U.S. Postal Service. U.S. President Trump has opposed providing funds to the struggling Postal Service for mail-in voting, warning states of potentially significant delays. Sanifa from HFC Bank joins us now with the latest from the money market.
Trading on the South Pacific Stock Exchange platform last week was active as the number of trades, volume and value traded stood noticeably higher than previous week. 55 transactions were recorded in 11 listed stocks, with more than 56,000 shares changing hands at a value of more than $150,000. In terms of share price changes, the total market value fell slightly by 0.8% and concluded the week at $3.52 billion. On the foreign exchange front, the US dollar began where it left off last week. A potential boost to sentiments from the postponement of the trade deal review was muted by uncertainty ahead of a week that includes the Federal Reserve minutes and the Democrat Party nomination convention. Meanwhile, Japan suffered its biggest economic contraction on record in the second quarter as the COVID-19 pandemic crushed business and consumer spending. That's a wrap from our local stock market and from HFC Bank, Pinaka.
Looking at today's local exchange rates as set this morning, it was a mixed day for the Sangamoli as it rose against the Chinese yuan, the US greenback and the New Zealand dollar but slid slightly against the Aussie, the Kina and the euro and the yen. Looking at commodities, oil prices continue to hover near the $42 a barrel mark. Gold dropped about $15 to $1,935 per ounce, and silver was on the descent at $25.96 an ounce. The Fijian government is focusing on repurposing pine timber in Kandavu for the rehabilitation of 200 homes. The government purchased 4 additional portable sawmills at the end of last month to help in housing rehabilitation in the maritime islands. They are now enlisting the support of the Republic of Fiji military forces to help build roads to ease the extraction of trees. Meanwhile, $1.5 million was allocated for maritime pine development and for purchasing of harvesting machines and equipment. The budget will accelerate the efforts to repurpose timber for all the damaged houses within the next few months. That's it from Business Tonight. We now join Jamie with the latest in sports.
Thanks, Whitney, and good evening. In sports tonight, Nasoko impressed with Yasawa's performance. And Tamanisau celebrates 4th BOG title win. This and more after the break.
My name is Neha and I'm from Kadavi. And Mirchi FM, it's hot.
Mirchi FM, it's hot.
Fiji men's sevens rep and Yasawa rugby player Kalione Nasoko is impressed with the performance of the Marlins so far. First-timers into the Skipper Cup competition, Yasawa has proven their worth, keeping other teams on their feet with their unpredictable play. Although the Marlins have not secured any wins so far, Nasoko says they've proven to be a side to be reckoned with and will continue to build their momentum after their close 30-31 loss to Fairbrother title holders Namosi on Saturday.
It's back to the drawing board now and back to recovery, and we start to, we keep on, it's a first year, so we're still learning and we keep on improving week by week. So we just go back to recovery now and prepare for the level.
Rising talent in the Naitasiri rugby side showed their class in last week's Skipper Cup clash against Nandronga. Vuate Karao Levu and Tuinraki Samu Wondre will head into Saturday's match against Suva with a bit more confidence after a superb performance in Sigatoka. Tali Materakula reports.
Here comes Karawa Levu.
The win against Nandronga last Saturday was a morale booster, with the youngsters ensuring there is no fear for complacency.
Just getting better every weekend. Thank for the Lord for giving me everything, like the practicing. In every session we have, training session, just build up from there onwards and just try and get up to the sky's the limit.
A win is a win, but after every game you should always be satisfied with what you've done. Next week, start again from the bottom and go towards the top.
The Highlanders know playing against the capital side on their home turf will not be easy.
We'll be expecting a tough competition, but on the day we'll see the outcome.
We need to work hard because all teams are getting fitter now. So we review and preview, and we will turn up at the national stadium for sure.
Naitasiri takes on the capital side on Saturday at the ANZ Stadium in Suva. Tali Materkula, FBC Sports.
Veteran goalie Simeone Tamanisau has much to celebrate after winning his 4th BOG title in the Rewa jersey. Tamanisau was instrumental in the Delta Tigers securing a spot in the BOG final. Delta One Automotive Repairs Rewa grabbed the honours, edging Flow Valves Island Accommodation Suva 1-0 at Churchill Park. Caroline Tabi with the details.
Situation today, Turangalai now drives, and Turangalai.
Tamanisau says maintaining the game-winning momentum throughout the season will be crucial for Rewa.
It's always an honor to don the red jersey, and I must thank the players for sticking in and giving the sacrifice, and it has paid off today. Well, to be back in the red jersey, this is really an awesome feeling, and I guess we'll just build on from here and hope that we maintain this performance all throughout the season.
Head coach Marika Rondo dedicated the win to young striker Jose Sela, who was injured during Saturday's semi-final clash against Priceline Pharmacimba. Despite losing one of its key players, the inexperienced Rewa side had what it took to meet the challenge.
The boys came with the motive to win and dedicate this game to Sesel. He's one of our upcoming players, very dedicated, and I think credit goes to all the boys for giving this game and the victory to Sesel, who's recovering.
The win marks Rewa's 9th BOG title. Carlini Tavi, FBC Sports.
The Fiji Swimming Association will host its first official competition since the onset of COVID-19 next week. They'll begin with their first short course Grand Prix tournament. The competition has been divided into two, one to be held at Suva's The Motor City Aquatic Centre, while the other a week later in Nandi. With more than 100 swimmers expected to attend, Fiji Swimming President Ben Roba says they anticipate a good turnout from various clubs in the Suva area.
We're actually going to start resuming our competitions again, and we are starting off with our Grand Prix series. So we have next week, we see what we've done is we're splitting the competition, where we have one in Suva and one in Nandi.
Kellen Ponga and Enari Tuala combined well to put a huge hole in Manly's finals hopes by leading the Knights to a 26-24 win in Newcastle. The Sea Eagles went into the match without star quintet Tom Drabojevic, Dylan Walker, Adan Funua-Blake, Martin Taupau and George Taufua. Fought bravely but now find themselves 4 points out of the top 8 with just 6 matches remaining. In another NRL match played last night, the West Tigers defeated Bulldogs 29-28. In today's Play of the Day, we take a look at the top 5 plays from the NBA's first Western Conference play-in. That's it from Sports Tonight. In new media after the break, a look at some Facebook features that will help you manage unwanted posts on your news feed. This and more coming up.
Hi, Bula. I'm Selai from Nandi. I love Gold FM, only the classic hits.
Gold FM,
only the classic hits.
Facebook's unfollow feature. And Angie joins us now with the latest in weather.
Good evening and welcome to the Weather World. Hope your weekend was wonderful and amazing. The sun was actually very helpful. But this is the start of another week where rain has banished our sunshine in the clouds. Let's see if there was any hope of sunny spells anywhere. In the west, good luck on this side as it didn't get much of the showery spells. Eastwards from Pakhama to Suva, there is cloud buildup which indicates showers crossing. And up north, light cloud cover as well. The showers will not be anything major. At sea, southeast winds 20 to 25 knots, rough seas. Now turning to the tides, low tide at 11:14 p.m. with high tide at 5:26 p.m. Sunrise at 6:24. For tomorrow, it will be a good one. Windy most of the day with, say, 75% chance of rain. Tomorrow's temps, Sabu Sabu will be quite cool up there at 28 degrees. The other centers will follow suit in the lower 30s. Now looking further on to Wednesday, showers will continue but will ease up by evening. That's all the weather news from my end. Have a wonderful week ahead. It's back to Jack.
Thanks so much for that, Angie. And in Fijian Pulse, tonight we asked, should players caught using drugs be handed a life ban from all levels of sports?
I think not permanently. I think they have lessons to learn from it, and as role models they shouldn't be doing things like that, but drugs is a whole different level of their mentality. They're probably going through things as athletes, so give them the benefit of the doubt, and yeah, that's it.
For me, I'd say, as a football player myself, I think they should be banned for life, because sports it should be natural, it should be played naturally. They shouldn't be involved in anything like drugs or these things that enhances the performance of the players.
A player should be given a second chance, but if continue to reoffend, then he or she should be banned for life.
I think the right thing would be to give them some form of punishment so that they get another chance. Like, it's not right to ban them for life, because most of them is their bread and butter. So just some form of punishment would be good enough so that they learn from the mistake.
In the world of the weird and the wonderful, in a time where climate change and its impacts are becoming a global concern, recycling has also become very popular. Recapping the main stories for tonight, Fijians in New Zealand marked safe from COVID-19. Sidelpa MP Linda Tambuya acquitted, and action plan will allow FCCC to monitor duty and tax reduction. Now for these stories and others, tune in daily to our sister radio station Gold FM. Our poll question last week we had asked, are you happy with the lifting of the Kawakawa and Donu ban? 71% said yes. And this week we're asking, should players found guilty of using drugs be banned from playing for life? Visit our FBC website to answer. And our shot of the day, first one for the week, beautiful view poolside at the Holiday Inn overlooking the Suva Harbour, sent in by Dexter Smith. And remember, you can send us newsworthy pictures to email fbcnews@fbc.com.fj, our Facebook page FBC News, and our Twitter page at FBC_news. That's your news for tonight. Until tomorrow, from the team and I, stay safe. Bye for now.
Bula FM, number 2 NSR.
Bula FM, number 2 NSR.